Okay, I am checking to see how much honey there is in this honey super. So I've already removed the top cover, one of the frames. Here you can see a frame with a bunch of bees on it. No capped honey on this. Lots of nectar and cells. So they've built out the honeycomb on this frame and are storing nectar, which will eventually become honey. And the bees have to cap the honey. Let's see if we can find a frame where there is capped honey. So here's the next frame deeper in. You can start to see a few caps on part of this frame where they've covered up the honey. Once it reaches the right thickness, or they've removed the right amount of water from the nectar, and then a lot of other cells that still have nectar in them. And I'll flip this over and you can see the same thing on the other side of the frame. Put that back in. Go one frame deeper towards the middle. Typically the bees will build things out from the middle frames towards the outer edges of the hive. And so here's the next frame. This is the fifth frame out of 10, so it's one of the center frames. And you can see some more capped honey on there. Lots of nectar stored. Same thing on the other side of this frame. So, one more frame towards the center. This one seems like it's got more capping occurring already. These frames separated, they're all stuck together. Okay. And again, lots of nectar in there. It's not capped off yet. No evidence of egg laying and stuff in here, so that's good. Go for the next frame in. Watch out, bees. I'm going to squeeze you. Get out of the way. Okay. And you can see that the bees are actually pretty docile here. They're maybe a little bit protective of their honey, but for the most part, when I start moving the frames, they just move out of the way of my hands. There's another frame. Lots of bees. And, put that one in. So there doesn't seem to be, there is some capped honey in here already, but not as much as I'd hoped. I was thinking that I'd put another honey super on top of here if all of this was capped, so that they could start filling up the next one, because the honey super, this is intended to be the part of the hive that has my harvest in it, as opposed to the part of the hive that the bees need just for their own food supply and stuff. Here's the next frame over. Pretty similar levels of capping. Lots of nectar filling things out. I can see that the next frame looks about the same. And then finally, the end frame on the far side of the hive from me. Let's see what that looks like. Yep. So they built out the wax, or honeycomb, with wax, adhering it to the foundation of the frame. And there's nectar pretty nearly every cell here. They're filling that out nicely. What they need to do is just wrap up the job. As things dry out and they get the water out of the honey, or out of the nectar, they'll cap it off and it'll become the honey that I will then eventually harvest. Now, today, I'm not going to go down into the depths of the hive, on this side at least. There seem to be lots of bees buzzing around. They're quite busy. So here's the outer frame on the side closest to me. You can see They've built out some wax. You can see the little cells, but there's hardly any nectar in that yet. And then this is the most outside edge, and there's almost no wax buildup on here yet, and no nectar storage going on. So they're slowly working their way to the outside. Maybe next week a lot of these frames will be capped off, and I'll be able to set another super up on top of here. So anyway, thanks.